Welcome to the SolidCAM University channel. This video's topic is revision of translated parts. So we've seen in previous training videos and CAD/CAM videos where there is a level of associativity that SolidCAM has with the original SolidWorks part, and how when you change that model, that associativity will update your toolpath. Now, the way that actually works is in the background, inside SolidWorks, every face, every edge, every sketch entity has an ID number. And that is actually what we're associated with. So if you're doing configurations, as long as you change a dimension but keep that same face, same ID number, we're associated with that. Your original SolidWorks model becomes your design model, but it still has all the same ID numbers, so that when you make a change on the original model, your SolidCAM copy of it, design model, updates as well. So all of that is the associativity coming into play. But when you translate a third-party format, like an IGES file, a step file, a Parasolid, into a SolidWorks model, you're creating a SolidWorks model, you're assigning ID numbers to each of those faces, and that's pretty much a SolidWorks model that we are associated to. Now, if you get a revision of that third-party file and you translate that revision into a SolidWorks model, it might be a revision of the original model from its originating format, but when you translate a model, you're essentially making a brand new file. So in this video, we're going to see what to do when you get that revision and how to actually work with it inside SolidCAM, despite the fact that there's no associativity with that brand new model with those brand new ID numbers. So we've got a part here that, if we take a look at my feature tree, it is an imported solid. This is actually imported from a Parasolid file. And I've already programmed on top of it using the typical turning toolpaths, face turning. I've even actually added a groove as well, and this is all using wireframe. Now, a revision of the file has been sent. I got another Parasolid file that I've converted. I actually called it Rev2, and that, like I said, is a brand new solid. It has all its own ID numbers. So to do the revision, I can't just do a change model reference and then expect it for everything to be updated, because that's essentially a brand new solid. So what I would recommend doing is still doing the save as, simply because I'd like to call it a Rev2. So in this case, you can see that I've already done this before. Obviously, for these videos, I practiced it ahead of time. So this is the Rev2. You can see that it has the Rev2 name on the top there. It is the same file. If I were to do the change model reference, I would lose all my associativity. But if we were to open up the file and take a look at it, it's a Rev. It's probably the exact same file, maybe a few changes in terms of its originating design. So there's probably really not a need to overlap and overwrite everything. I might just want to see what the changes are. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to go to Assembly, Insert Components. I'm going to browse to where I kept that translated file. So I've already translated this outside of SolidCAM, inside SolidWorks. So I have the translated file, and you can see that it's essentially the same file with a wider groove, and looks like even a flat has been added. So what I'm doing here is I'm actually just adding it to the original file that I have here, and I just have my Rev2 popping in here. So again, working with SolidCAM External allows you to do this sort of SolidWorks related stuff. Now I'm just going to mate these together. So these faces are coincident. The keyway is probably the same. Now I say probably because this is my example part, but in reality you would most likely have a print where you'd have some sort of indication as to what the changes are, and you would know exactly what to program for. Here I'm pretending that I do have that print. So I know that the keyway is the same. I know that the overall length is the same. I can just see that I have a different size of groove, and there's the flat. And that's essentially what I would do here. I would make the original invisible. So if I were to open this up, I would not know, except for the wireframe, that this is the solid that I'm intending to use. I'm not going to go and assign it as my target, because again, inside of a mill turn module or a turning module, that's going to disrupt the definitions of the background. It's going to think that it has to reassign itself to this new model. I'm only looking to do what the differences are. And if the differences are the groove, well, then I'll just go into CAM, right-click on Target, and let's edit that sketch. What we're going to do here is I'm just going to say, okay, if the groove is the new thing, then let's make an intersection curve on that face. Okay, so we got the intersection curve. It actually intersected on the bottom here, so let's just get rid of that guy. And we can see that we got our old profile and our new profile. So I'm just going to make a change here. I'm going to say there's a corner made between these guys. And these guys, so you can see now it has the new profile. And then this, let's just make this guy construction. That way it doesn't disrupt the target profile. So now we have a new target profile for our new solid. It's almost as if I did select it as my target, but I'm not actually doing that. So what that allows me to do now is go into any toolpath that needs to be updated. In this case, this guy here. So it's not associative, but I kept my toolpaths, I kept my tool table, all my design, all my programming functionality is still there. I'm just going to reselect that geometry, and then I should be able to just recalculate. You can see now that it turns it to the new groove, the new width of that new groove. And then likewise, I can do the groove as well, because I have some chain geometry now. I'll just go new, choose that chain, go to there, save and calculate. If we take a look at this in our simulation, this is pretty much the only time you're going to be able to tell that it wasn't the original solid, because when we go to do our gouge check, it's still comparing it to the original target. Now, if that's an issue, you could always go and select the target and then reassign everything. This is just the idea that you just need to make this slight change and then apply it to the new revision of the part. And likewise, we have this nice flat here. If I wanted to, I could go and add some iMachining on here as well, because now I have some geometry to select. I'd have to go and add a coordinate system and all that. But essentially, at this point, we're looking at a brand new solid. We can add all the new toolpaths we need. We've relabeled it Rev2. So you've made the distinction that this is a brand new file. You can post the code, and you've now done the revision on your translated part. Any questions on this or anything else from SolidCAM, just give us a call at 1-866-975-1115, extension 2. You can send us your parts or your questions via the ticket system at solidcamsupport.com. And stay tuned for the rest of the videos on this YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.